Absolutely, especially with the network rollouts. I mean, 3G access is now almost everywhere. It's very pervasive, and LTE deployments are coming out in new markets every single day, which really means that subscribers now have reliable and high-speed access to the mobile internet. So doing things like shopping and banking and gaming and watching movies, that's all now really a reality for the mobile subscriber. So they're really sort of getting those rich services that the industry's been promising, for over 5 years now. I think there is still, though, a disconnect between the mobile subscriber and the carriers now with data services, just in terms of how data services are consumed and the experience of not the actual service itself, but the consumption and how they pay for those services and how they figure out, how they're getting charged for data services. There's a disconnect there. And because applications and data usage is becoming so popular, carriers have started feeling pressure on their networks. So they're doing things like capping subscribers or throttling high-use subscribers, and that's caused a bit of confusion and made that disconnect get wider instead of sort of bridging that gap on what the consumer experience should be with the actual carrier. Yeah, well, when you think about it, all these things that I'm doing on my phone, whether it be gaming or banking, I can transfer money from one account to another, and it happens in real time. I can download a movie and instantly watch it. So why wouldn't I be able to interact with my carrier in real time also through that mobile device? So if I wanted to say, look at my usage and see what I just used an hour ago, why wouldn't I be able to do that? Why wouldn't I be able to change my plan through my mobile device if I look like I'm going to go over my data allotment? Things like that. Why can't I do that in real time like I can do other services that the mobile carrier is enabling in real time? Think about if I want to check my email. I'm going to go ahead and download email. I should be able to then immediately log into my account and see how much that transaction took out of my data bundle. So I can see, other applications that I might be using that are draining my data bundle really quickly, and then I can more control how I'm using different data services and how those data services are impacting how much money I'm going to spend every month. Or things like family plans, which are very popular. I should be able to, through my mobile device, see, how much data my daughter is actually using out of our shared bundle. And if she's hogging it, then I should be able to put a limit on her right there in real time and have it immediately take effect. So things like that, or things like potentially purchasing a quality of service upgrade if I'm on the train and I want to watch a movie and I want to make sure I get a good experience. If I'm willing to pay for it, I should be able to do that through my phone right there instantly. It's those kinds of experiences that are going to bridge that gap between what carriers are delivering from a service perspective and the actual customer service experience that they're giving their customers. I think there's a shift in mindset on the business side that needs to happen around, what could you enable for the subscriber if you were actually interacting with them in real time? What kind of experiences could you give them? What kind of services could you offer them? How could you, there's a big buzzword now in the industry around personalization. Well, how can you really personalize an offering to somebody unless it's instant, it's in the moment, and you can capitalize on maybe where they are or what they're doing? That's the kind of shift in thinking, I think, that operators and service providers need to take from a business perspective. From an infrastructure perspective, it is about having very scalable, very efficient real-time platforms that enable these things. Because when you look at the growth of data usage and then you layer on top of that, well, it's not just the fact that I'm checking my email, it's also the fact that I might be checking my account in real time or topping up in real time. And all of those things sort of grow to where you're looking at maybe 10,000 to 100,000 real-time transactions every second to support your customer base and to support a real-time experience. So that means you just have to have a very scalable, very efficient infrastructure that can support that kind of volume of interaction. I think that operators need to consider themselves the enabler of the super mobile, of what we call the super mobile generation. I mean, there's a whole generation out there of people that are growing up with cell phones in their hands from the time that they're 8 years old. And the carrier should really think about themselves being the brand and sort of the central enabler of all that, rather than the media provider or the content provider. And they should look to be sort of the central control and the infrastructure around enabling the whole ecosystem. So whether it be not just a consumer, but whether it be a content partner, whether it be potentially an M2M enabler, the carrier should be looking to provide an infrastructure for all of the ecosystem that they can easily hook into, so that there's a way for them to track usage, to track application usage, to be able to better monetize that. And then the operator becomes the sort of control and central point of those revenue opportunities, rather than just a network provider. I'm actually learning a lot about the African market, first of all. I think it's a very diverse market. I think you have a lot of interesting business models out there, interesting ideas. In some ways, coming from the market in Western Europe, they are just sort of at the beginning of their evolution with data services. Yet there's other areas like in M-Health, where they are much more advanced at this point in time than we are over in Western Europe and in the United States. So it's been really interesting to learn what the different operators are doing and what, again, the ecosystem's doing to enable new business models and to enable new types of services delivered over mobile broadband networks.